Hey guys, and welcome to Swami Studios. I am your host, Moonlight Swami, and today I'm bringing you guys the Josh Gibson My Player series. Well, now it's just the... well, it still is. I'm still working on it. And today's episode will feature Walter Johnson. Walter Perry Johnson was born on November 6th, 1887 in Humboldt, Kansas. Wow, he's an old man. He was known as one of the premier power pitchers of his era. Now, I'm going to warn you right now, there is not too much about him because of the fact that his team kind of sucked. And, okay. Ty Cobb and the Detroit Tigers were his first opponent. He made his debut on August 2nd, 1907 at the age of 19. And they all looked at him like, wow, he's just this big, tall, southern hick who is just meant to intimidate us but can't do anything with a weird motion. He was a sidearm pitcher. And they thought, okay, whatever. Ty Cobb got up to face him. Thought it would be an easy win against, in his exact words, one of your hayseeds. So he went up to bat. He saw Johnson's easy, slow sidearm windup. And the pitch flew past Ty Cobb. The only thing he could do in reaction was flinch. Couldn't swing, couldn't do anything. He then went on to say, and quote, "We couldn't touch him. Every one of us knew we'd met the most powerful arm ever turned loose in a ballpark," end quote. And that's pretty cool to have said about you when you're 19 years old. In that game, it was a no decision for Johnson. They ended up losing that game 3-2 to the Tigers, but it was definitely a good start to an exceptional career. In more than half of the seasons that Johnson played for the Washington Senators, his team had a losing record. In some instances, they only had 40 wins to their name. So that really says something about how bad his team was and how phenomenal of a pitcher he was. If he was on a better team, he very well could have had more wins than Cy Young. That's saying something. From 1907 to 1919, Walter Johnson had his highest ERA was 2.22. Due to Johnson's unique pitching motion, right-handed hitters had trouble dealing with his overpowering fastball. At the time, it was measured by some instrument. I don't remember what it was called. It was the most accurate they had, but it wasn't very reliable to begin with, especially not in comparison to today's equipment. It was clocked in at 91.4 miles per hour. It was actually relatively unheard of to throw that fast at the time. And, I mean, yes, there were some previously, like Cy Young and those people, but that was because of his shorter mound and like that. But it was kind of unheard of, and right-handed hitters felt like the pitch was coming from third base. That's how odd of a motion he had. Not odd, but just how sidearm it was. And if you think about it, 91 for a sidearm pitcher is pretty remarkable, because most guys who throw 90 in the 90s have to throw overhand. It's very rare to see a sidearm pitcher or a submarine-style pitcher who throw that fast. Just thought I'd put that out there. By the way, I hate this stadium, my home stadium, because of the dugout having no fence. So if my second baseman or shortstop overthrow the first baseman, it's an automatic extra base for them, which really annoys me. But back to what I was saying. Sorry about that. In 1913, Walter Johnson had his second 30-win season. The previous was the year before. In 1912, he had 33 wins. In 1913, he had 36. Those 36 victories were 40% of his team's total wins in that season. And it was good enough of a season for the AL MVP award and the pitcher's triple crown. His ERA in 1913 is the fourth lowest ever, and it was recorded at a 1.14. Bob Gibson would pass that with 1.12. There was something where his manager always had the last game as like a throwaway game. So Johnson started in the outfield, and then he went to pitch. He gave up 2 hits. They took him out, and the guy who came in to pitch next was a catcher. He gave up a hit, both runs scored, both runs counted towards Johnson. His ERA went from a 1.14, from 1.09 to a 1.14. It happens. Okay, so 11 strikeouts for me. Really good performance. And it wasn't a shutout, but it was a no decision, and that really sucks. Because the Senators were a middle of the pack to bottom of the pack team for a large portion of his career, there isn't much about him. You know, he never threw a no-hitter, never really did any of those major milestone things. But in 1924, the Senators did win the World Series. Johnson lost games 1 and 5, but he came in for relief in Game 7, pitched 4 scoreless innings, and they won the decisive Game 7 in 12 innings. The following season, the Senators made it back to the World Series. Johnson won 2 games early in the series and then lost the decisive Game 7. So kind of like a reverse on that. And now you're seeing some Josh Gibson gameplay. You know, really good stuff. Hitting well. Batting still over 400, even though I don't play. I play like 1 in every 7 of his games. And he still is doing that. That's amazing. After a lackluster 5-6 in 1927, age 39 season, Walter Johnson retired. 1928, he began his managerial career in the minor leagues, and from 1929 to 1932, he managed the Senators, and from 1933 to 1935, he was the manager of the Indians. In 1936, Walter Johnson was part of the inaugural class of the Hall of Fame on an 83.63% vote. He joins the group of Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner, and Christy Mathewson, who I will cover in a later episode. On December 10th, 1946, Walter Johnson died of a brain tumor in Washington, D.C., 5 weeks after his 59th birthday. Very sad. Way too young. He had a very illustrious career, the Big Train did. Some fun facts about him. He's the only American League pitcher to strike out 4 batters in 1 inning. Yep, 4 batters in 1 inning. Drop third strike, that kind of stuff. He also holds the record for most 3-pitch innings with 4. In Walter Johnson's career, he had 12 20-win seasons and 2 30-win seasons. Those two 30-win seasons were back-to-back. He also had a record of 38 and 26 in games decided by 1 run. Or decided 1-0, sorry. Both wins and losses in that statistic are records. He also lost 65 games because his team did not score a run. That's depressing. In 1908, Walter Johnson shut out the New York Islanders in 3 straight games, September 4th, 5th, and 7th. That's amazing. Walter Johnson is a 3-time pitching Triple Crown winner, a 2-time MVP. The other 2 pitchers to ever have that happened in 1935 and 36 and 1944 and 45 during World War II. Don't remember their names, but it's only been done 3 times that pitchers have gotten 2. As a pitcher, he also had a .235 lifetime average with 23 home runs, 9th all-time on home runs for pitchers. It's been said that he was a very kind person and was friends with Ty Cobb's teammate, Sam Crawford. And sometimes in non-critical situations, Walter Johnson would ease up against Crawford, leaving Cobb perplexed at how Crawford could hit so well against Johnson, but no one else could. That's pretty funny. And overall, Johnson's record is 417 and 279. With a .599 winning percentage. His lifetime ERA is 2.17, 3,508 career strikeouts, and 110 shutouts, which is a record by far. He is a member of the All-Century team and All-Time team. one-time World Series champion, and is second to Cy Young in wins by 104. He's the only pitcher besides Young with over 400 wins. In 1999, the Sporting News ranked him number 4 on the all-time list of 100 greatest players, the highest pitcher on the list. Christy Mathewson with 7 was the second highest. The players ahead of him, in order, were Ty Cobb, Willie Mays, and number 1 is Babe Ruth. Guys, I hope you enjoyed Walter Johnson. This is the Josh Gibson My Player series. I might have another video up later today. Good way to end the episode, though. 5 for 5 with 3 home runs in a game and still lose. That's nice. But guys, I'm Moonlight Swami. I hope you enjoyed. Finally feeling better. Woke up early to do this commentary. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed. I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace, I'm out.